In the eons following the fall of Lemurian glory, when Earth was still young and the seas lapped shores unknown to present memory, there arose from the waters of the Atlantic Ocean the mightiest of all continents, Atlantis, crown of the fourth root race, golden age of human power, and tragic epic of greatness and downfall. One million years before our time, the survivors of Lemuria, scattered across all continents, began to build a new civilization. They were no longer the ethereal giants of their ancestors, yet still mighty in their stature, 8 to 12 feet tall, with bodies of firmer substance, but still permeated by forces of the invisible worlds. These beings carried within them the development of a new faculty of consciousness. The Kamamanas, the union of feeling and thought, of desire and intellect. The great continent of Atlantis stretched from the present-day Azores to the Caribbean, a vast land with 7 great islands connected by bridges of living crystal and traversed by canals that flowed like silver veins nourishing the heart of civilization. First and mightiest of their cities was Poseidonis, the Golden City, built upon the largest of the islands in concentric rings of land and water, as Plato would later describe them in fragmentary memories. The early Atlanteans were still children of the gods, born from the union of Poseidon, god of the sea, with earthly Cleito. Their first king was Atlas the Titan-born, whose name was given to the entire continent. In those golden centuries, the Atlanteans still possessed the gift of dream sight. Their consciousness could freely wander between the physical and astral worlds, and they communicated with elemental beings, nature spirits, and teachers from higher spheres. Their technology was not technology in the modern sense, but an art of cooperation with the living forces of nature. They cultivated crystals that stored sunlight and transformed it into pure energy. Their airships moved not through mechanical force, but through conscious direction of life energy. The vril, that magical force which flows through all things and can be directed by a developed will. The Atlanteans shaped living metal with their hands, spoke to stones, and these obeyed their words. They could influence weather, summon rain or calm storms. Their gardens were wonders of beauty, flowers as large as trees, fruits that carried starlight within them, and trees whose songs filled human hearts with peace. Yet the true power of the Atlanteans lay in the great crystals, those mighty gems kept in the temple pyramids of Poseidonis. These crystals were not mere tools, but conscious entities connected to cosmic forces. The mightiest among them, the Tuaui crystal or firestone, was a living star that had grown in Earth's depths and channeled the energy of the central sun itself. Over hundreds of thousands of years, 7 great Atlantean civilizations developed. The Romoahals, first and most primitive, still closely related to their Lemurian ancestors, the Tlavatli, seafarers and explorers, the Toltecs, the golden race that reached the peak of Atlantean wisdom and power, the original Turanians, Semites, Akkadians and Mongols, each with their own cultural flowerings and spiritual schools. The Toltec era was Atlantis's true golden age. Under the rule of enlightened priest-kings, a civilization flourished whose perfection would never again be achieved. Their cities were symphonies of living light, their temples bridges to the stars. The Toltecs mastered not only physical forces, but also the laws of time and space. They could travel through dimensions, communicate with beings from distant worlds, and fathom the mysteries of life and death. Yet even in paradise, the seeds of destruction germinated. With the progressive materialization of human consciousness, the Atlanteans began to lose their supersensible abilities. What had once been natural gift became difficult to learn art, and what had once been service to higher powers gradually transformed into addiction to personal power. The Great Division began in the time of the late Toltecs, when the Atlantean adepts split into 2 camps, the Sons of the Law, servants of light, who wished to continue using their power for the welfare of all, and the Sons of Belial, the black magicians who abused Atlantean forces for their own selfish purposes. The wars between these 2 factions were not battles with swords and spears, but conflicts of spirits, struggles with forces that could move mountains and divide seas. The Sons of Belial created chimeric beings, human-animal hybrids meant to serve as slaves and soldiers. They experimented with life forces, perverted the sacred art of crystal magic, and transformed the Twai stones from healing tools into weapons of destruction. The first great catastrophes occurred about 200,000 years ago, when mishandling of crystal forces led to massive explosions that sank entire islands and altered Earth's climate for millennia. The second great destruction 75,000 years ago divided the continent into several islands, of which Poseidonis remained the largest and most powerful. In the final millennia before the ultimate downfall, Atlantis was ruled by decadent priest-kings who still possessed fragments of ancient power but had lost the wisdom to use it rightly. Luxury and pomp replaced spiritual development. Cruelty and perversion poisoned the once pure hearts of the Atlanteans. The great crystals became instruments of torture, the sacred temples sites of black rituals. The last sages, the sons of the law, recognized the approaching end and distributed themselves across the entire earth to save precious knowledge. They brought the secrets of crystal energy to Egypt and Peru, the arts of healing to the mystery temples of Greece and India, astronomy to the Maya, and the magic of elementals to the Druids. The final destruction came about 11,600 years ago in a single catastrophic night. The last black magicians of Poseidonis attempted in their desperation to increase the power of the great crystal by feeding it with forces from other dimensions, but they lost control over the unleashed energies. The Twai stone exploded with the force of 1,000 volcanoes, split the Earth's crust, and caused the last remnants of the Atlantean continent to sink into the ocean's depths. In a single night and day, the mightiest civilization Earth had ever seen vanished. Tidal waves raced across all oceans and extinguished entire coastal peoples. Survivors in distant lands preserved only fragmentary memories of the golden age that was forever lost. Yet Atlantis did not truly die. In the pyramids of Egypt, in the temples of the Andes, in the stone circles of Britain, in the sacred caves of India, the Atlantean heritage still rests today. The great crystals sleep in hidden chambers beneath the seas, waiting for the time when humanity will again be mature enough to understand and utilize their power. And in human hearts themselves, the memory of Atlantis lives on, as longing for the lost golden age, as warning against the dangers of power abuse, and as promise of a new time when wisdom and power will again be united in the coming age that the ancient prophets call the New Atlantis, which will rise from the waters of time when humanity has learned to unite love and knowledge, power and compassion in eternal harmony. Thus ends the tale of the fourth root race, whose glory illuminated the earth for nearly 1,000,000 years, and whose fall serves as eternal reminder that power without wisdom leads to destruction, while power guided by love can transform worlds and elevate all life to divine heights. In every human heart burns still a spark of Atlantean fire, waiting to be kindled into the flame of conscious divinity that shall illuminate the path to humanity's luminous destiny among the stars.